Wild. Today is Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, and every day is a special day here. Every day that we can come out and do what we're doing is a special day. We call it the ninth day. The ninth day is the day beyond the seventh day, beyond the eighth day, the seventh day, which are the 7 days we expect to get everything done, then to have a seventh day to rest. But that American dream of having retirement in this world is kind of bust. The realization of that is kind of the eighth day. So when we realize that all these fake promises are empty promises, there's nothing backing all the promises, not the investments, not the stocks, not the currencies, not the retirement plans, and all different government or other promises that have been made to us about how we're going to have a better future if we just follow this rule, that rule, the other rule. I'm not saying that religions and faith systems aren't worth something, but they're worth something as long as you can actually realize that promised day in the promised land. So that was the eighth day. The eighth day was the realization that all those promises were based on some old stories. But there's the ninth day. The ninth day is beyond that, meaning from a Jewish quote-unquote perspective, the rationale is that every generation they come to destroy us. Why? Because one day after it all, it'll be worth it. One day after it all will be worth it, when the final redemption comes. And then we're supposed to build a temple. We're supposed to bring sacrifices, and we're supposed to do all those things. That hedonism is not the end goal. That hedonism of all of the stuff that we do in the name of God, and all the sacrifices, and all the atonements, and all the different ceremonies we do in order to forgive ourselves. Yes, they're very important, but that's a transition. That's transition. That's like going to rehab. That's like going to some kind of a place to correct from where we are in the imbalanced state of addiction to this exile mentality, where we go to deal with our PTSI, our post-traumatic stress, our Patty Hearst syndrome, our Stockholm syndrome, where we believe that it's okay, it's good enough, because it can always be worse. Our survivor's guilt, where how come we are allowed to survive when all those others haven't? All those issues are true, but how do you go on after that? That's the ninth day. The ninth day is after you've dealt with all the guilt, the forgiveness, compassion, hope, and trust. We've realized that we have to live with ourselves. We have to find a way to forgive ourselves. We have to live with the people around us. We have to find a way to forgive them. But when we do, this tiny little kitten, what a beautiful picture. You learn to behave with forgiveness, compassion, hope, and trust towards ourselves and towards others. It's a new dawn in the Negev, new dawn everywhere. But we don't have to teach our kids that yes, it's okay, it could be worse. They're coming to destroy us, but they are our enemies, but we are hated, but when tiny kittens like this that have no chance of survival have the audacity to come out and to claim their stake, that's part of the prophecies we have for the final redemption. So you see, the final redemption isn't the revelation. The final redemption isn't when we recognize that we've been wrong, when we recognize that it's time to change. The final redemption is when we're there. And that's a subtle difference. It's the difference between fighting our tendencies and being okay with the new state of normal. The Talmud tells us that in the final generation, arrogance will dominate, meaning respect for our elders, respect for authority will wane. Well, that can be taken and interpreted in so many different ways, but not the least of which is that if the system doesn't work, it's about time that we look for a better one. I'm not saying one particular system, I'm saying that there's a rules of engagement. When you want to keep someone in exile, you have to teach them the exile mentality. When we keep somebody in scarcity, you have to teach them the scarcity mentality. When you want to teach somebody abundance, you have to teach them abundance mentality. These tiny kittens, if I'm not mistaken, this is my new best friend here. It's the one whose trust I've earned. Oh, what a sweetheart. Just the example. The example is we have to teach our kids there's a better way. What child wants to inherit the traditions of the past when it's just about persecution? It's just about being afraid of who we are, never being allowed to identify ourselves. What a beautiful generation it is where we can have people traveling the world identifying as who they are, being proud of who they are and who they're going to be, and their tradition but also their future. There's two kittens playing in the tree there. These are constituents of ours. They come and they eat. They thrive and they survive here. They survive and they thrive here. Because we're no longer in the scarcity mentality. We are teaching by example the abundance mentality. It's another tiny kitten from the new generation. Besides these ones. This one's my pedicurist. Ouch! He's got his nail stuck in my toe. Ouch. I see you, little baby. Come here. Oh, how adorable. Aphrodite. What a beautiful little kitten. So, today being the second day, or the third day of the month of Adar, this is the month where everything is supposed to flip over for the good. All of our luck, our fate, our expectations, going from the scarcity and the darkness of the winter to the light shining earlier, shining longer, the sunlight hours being more. Oh, this little baby came to me, snuggling by my feet. An adorable little kitten. His food's still in its mouth. It's okay, baby. He wants to climb up my leg and play with me. That's two kittens there, by the way. One behind the other, another one in the wall. And of course this one here that likes my feet. There's all the other ones behind the wall, on the wall, eating. This is the abundance mentality. This is what it's like when it says in the prophecies, in the future, the lamb with the wolf, the tendency of killing will be over. The bloodlust, the competition mentality will be gone. We'll be able to live in peace and harmony. It will be such an abundance. Yes, of course, carnivorous animals still have to eat meat. And how will that work in the future? Well, there's a lot of different ideas. But besides the fact that, yes, all animals have lifespans, and in the ultimate recycling or the ultimate return to nature, that yes, that when all the other mammals and animals eventually die, they do have to do something, and if they could feed the population of animals without them having to have a bloodlust to kill, there are enough animals out there, especially if we stop feeding them to humans. And then the natures of animals change, besides the fact that we're able to produce through labs enough meat, real meat through labs without killing anything. So there's no issue to feed the world population of animals. There's no issue to deal with the change in nature from predatory to non-predatory. There's different levels and different ways of dealing with the change in the nature as we move forward. So the 9th day is the day beyond the corrections, beyond the adjustments, beyond the re-education, beyond the retraining, beyond the discomfort, beyond the rehabilitation, beyond the detox, beyond the 12 steps. That's the cat with the injured back. I need to see how it's doing. Let's see if it's coming back to the party. I have to be careful of the cats that are between my feet. I don't think it came up. It must have gone back down. So the 9th day is the day beyond, the day when everything is readjusted properly, the day when we can benefit the bounty, just enjoy the fruits of our labor, enjoy the abundance that we have, see all the joint efforts of all the people, and of course nature in harmony that produces so much. We have enough to destroy in order to arbitrate prices. It's time to stop being ridiculous and using that abundance to feed the world properly, to readjust the imbalance, to teach that sharing is caring and caring is sharing, and that me for we works a lot better, because in the survival of the fittest it gets very lonely at the top. I've been there, I know. Just checking out the cats. They're finished eating. Don't always turn the camera around. We also have a whole new batch, whole new sets of kittens. They're still in the nursery over here. This one is the one that comes to play with me. These are other ones. We just have to recognize that they're here. This one's coming out and wants to play. This one's a bigger one already, a previous generation. You hear two tiny little babies underneath the bench. And there's more hidden around through the bushes. This is the other side of that wall. This is the other apartment building. It's our big tiger called Fuzzy, who used to be our mascot. Still is, but just he's more independent now. There's one of the kittens under the bench. There's Dingo. There's the one that wants to play. Found something else to play with. An adorable little kitten. Woo! That was quite the move there. Ninja cats in training. I'm glad I was able to catch that. As fluky as anything. Our neighbor friend there is going back to work with his junkyard. All the cats are finishing up the extra food. Every day I try to bring a little bit more. Whenever I see the need. This is a relatively new cat to the bunch. Still very anxious. Very protective of his space, but slowly getting integrated. I intentionally put this to separate the two feed bowls, because this is prime space. Dingo's asking for me to top up that bowl, which I will. There's the cats here. I put the rocks in between here also to at the same time give them the division, but at the same time remind them that it's a common plate. However much I'm inventing these stories, I don't know, but they do seem to be working. Whenever you see a cat walking towards me, it's because it wants attention. Got all the cats on the wall. The different connections they have, I'm not going to interpret or guess. There's Limpy. There's the ones in the distance running and playing. There's two over here. That's the hurt one. The one that's on the floor in the front. I don't know how he snaked around his way here, but he's waiting for a safe place to eat. Not sure who the one behind him is. This is the one that we're talking about. With the injured back. Seems to be doing better a little bit. I don't see any blood at the moment. I don't know if he's getting medical attention or not, he or she. Showing the dynamics here. Still have those chasing my ankles. This is FOMO, if I'm not mistaken. A bunch here. Just want to check out the other corner pile. Uncle Mike coming to check things out. The gray cat in the corner here. There's of course new water installations. As I find reusable plastic containers, I fill them up with water. And if they stick around, then I reuse them. That's the injured cat, the one in the front there. Wanting to see how it's doing. It's finding its way into the society here, into the party. There's not a lot of food left here, so they've been eating it fast or knocking it over. That's also the case. They can knock the food over and waste it, and then eventually other cats or dogs or birds end up eating the leftovers. I'm just trying to see if I can get an angle on this cat to see how its injuries are doing. Just happy that it feels safe enough to come out. I'm gonna go off camera shortly so I can redistribute the food and give them the attention that they want and need. Infinite love and gratitude as well that you have come. Wishing everyone their place in the abundance mentality. Feel free to ask how you can join any one of our chill zones or club chill, or how you can be part of the Barnes coin, a new cryptocurrency revolution where everybody gets full value all the time, guaranteed. Ask how you can be part of our Royal Oases, where we convert common spaces, shared, wasted, neglected spaces, used as buffer zones, into productive spaces for the community through Earth Guardianship programs, where we learn how to be stewards of the land, how to improve the land, protect the land, always in a carbon neutral way, always in a way that leaves it better than the way we found it. I'm just trying to see if I can get an angle of this cat to observe how its back is doing. The cat behind seems to want to tend to its wounds, but I'm very much just interpreting things in my own words. I know that I've signed off already once. It's just that it's hard to sign off when everything is so compelling to watch. So my last sweep. So this cat did come around to look for scraps. I will go and put some more food there. That's the injured one I'm talking about. This is the back. It looks like a pattern on its back, but those are wounds that are healing. Happy to say they look like they're healing. I can't see closer. I do have to bring more food to this corner. Here are the orange cats still working on this corner with the rock in the middle of this, which I will move soon. There are these kittens and the baby mama. I think that is the mother to that kitten, if I'm not mistaken. A kitten left on the wall cleaning up scraps. Limpy and another tuxedo kitten. Curious as to what's going on the bench. Besides, in the corner there, the new batch of kittens doing their kitten thing. So I'm going to sign off for now after I redistribute the food. Infinite love and gratitude.